Lane.
Yeah.
Tisworth.
Here.
Dr. Coleman.
Here.
Here.
Present.
Dr. Von Elliott.
Excused. Thank you. And I now have a motion to approve the agenda.
Madam Chair, I need to amend the agenda. Under the items for information, under row 9, we'd like to pull the comprehensive school improvement presentation on student performance, B, the climate and culture survey, and those are due to circumstances beyond our control with illnesses. And then we'd like to pull item B, which is a travel report, because it's a duplication.
Okay, thank you. So with those adjustments, may I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Approved by Dr. Coleman. May I have a second? Questions? All in favor, may I have an aye?
Aye.
Now move to patron participation. Shay, do we have any people that would like to address the board? Thank you. I would therefore then like to call for Riverview Gardens Excellence.
In the absence of Mr. Sistron, I get the honor of doing the review X. For the month of November 2023, Stanley Henderson, a custodian at Riverview Gardens High School, was selected as a staff member of the month. Mr. Henderson was nominated by Ms. Lorinda Hutt, the secretary of Riverview Gardens High School, and a parent, and was voted on by the Communications Committee. Is Mr. Henderson here? Okay, so you're gonna receive his award? Okay. What she wrote about him was, for years and years, Mr. Henderson has led and motivated the ever-changing team of custodians at the Riverview Gardens High School. I forgot my back is now to the board. Difficult to navigate. He has stepped up with the proverbial plate, filling in and making sure the grounds are welcoming and clean for our scholars. She added, he works till the job is done at all times, whether he has a team of 10 or a team of 2. Stan makes sure okay. He makes sure the space is ready to receive and serve our students and scholars at the high school. So this is his award. And his award just says Riverview Excellence for the month to Stanley Henderson, November 2023, New View on the Horizon. Is Ms. Monica Martin here? Okay, come on up. The committee also selected Ms. Monica Martin. Did I say your name correctly? Monica Morton, a paraprofessional at Michelle Obama Early Childhood Academic Center, as the staff member of the month for December 2023. Ms. Martin was nominated by Dr. Amita Mix Williams, who is here, Director of Early Childhood. Ms. Meeks Williams wrote, Ms. Monica goes above and beyond to ensure scholars have all that they need to be successful at school. She is currently enrolled in Grand Canyon University and is striving to pursue her bachelor's in early childhood education so as to have her own classroom. She added, she is the first person to volunteer for any committee. She purchases items for the scholars with her own finances and does not complain about it. She promotes positivity with the scholars and sees the best in all of them. So on behalf of the committee, I think she wrote one more thing. You were recently, Ms. Martin was recently inducted into the National Society of Collegiate Scholars for her academic scholastic excellence. In Mr. Sistron's absence, if somebody could take a picture with their phone, then we can have it. Okay, let's go up here.
picture.
Oh.
I got it. But I'm not actually, so it's dry.
That come.
Okay.
Go that way.
I mean, I'm not Ishmael. Oh.
No, you're fine. Leave it there. I'm good.
Sorry, I'm. Pinned in back here.
Oh, yeah, all kind of stuff.
Got all kind of booby traps back there. Think they're trying to get me some more days for fun. I won't complain.
Oh. 10 years are real. Real. Is it here?
Yeah.
That's why you didn't come.
I forgot I took my mother divorce, test scan. She had look. I forgot all about the train. Sorry. Hey. Just told her. Tuesday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We will now move to Riverview Garden Student Representative Report.
Both our students tonight are going to report. We have Paris French, Michael Long.
Okay,
Ladies.
wonderful.
Good evening, Special Administrative Board, Dr. Pruitt Adams, and community. On tomorrow, the 13th, our Riverview Gardens boys will be gathering for a leadership summit on campus. I am bringing this to the board's attention because I think this is the perfect opportunity to remind our students of their greatness. Our vision as a district is to equip students to be competitors and leaders in a global society. And I believe the upcoming summit will have a positive impact on our scholars and their academic futures. Now I'm passing this along to Micah.
Thank you. Good evening, Special Administrative Board, Dr. Pruitt Adams and community. I apologize for my absence last meeting, but I'm glad to be back. And previously, on December 1st, a few of our creative designers at Riverview had the opportunity to have their designs debuted at the annual Lindenwood Fall Fashion Show. I would appreciate it if we could give a round of applause to Courtney Catching, Layden Blackman, Kayla Cody, Samila Jones, and Tyler Thompson, with special recognition to Layden Blackman for her award for having the most marketable design. These talented individuals did an amazing job of representing our district, and their achievements show that our students have dedication and have an innate drive for success. The Sensational Sapphires, our dance team, will also be showing their creativity and athleticism at the UDA competition held at Fort Zumwalt on December 16th. This will be their first competition and another great opportunity to show the talents of our scholars, which is an attribute that our overall reputation needs. Thank you for your time this evening, and I hope everyone has a happy holiday.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
At this time, I wanted to know if any board members had announcements. Well, the announcement that I have is I want to thank the board members that came out for our board training. I think that we learned a lot. It was fun, a little lengthy, but I think that we learned a lot. So I just wanted to let you all know that I do appreciate those of you that made the effort to come. I think that it was really wonderful. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to the superintendent for the superintendent's report.
Good evening, everyone. As we enter the holiday season, there is a plethora of activities going on at all of our schools. I will try to go through them very quickly. On the 13th, we have Glasgow's Breakfast with Santa, and we also have the Male Summit at the high school. On the 14th, we have Gibson Elementary's Pizza and Pictures with Santa, Polk Elementary Winter Musical, Highland Elementary Let's Glow for great attendance, and Lewis and Clark Elementary's winter program, in addition to Michelle Obama's Academic Center, pastries and parents, as well as Moline's 3rd and 5th grade art gallery concert live. On the 15th, we have Glasgow's Reading Success Glow Party. On the 18th, Meadows PTO Winter Wonderland. On the 19th, Highland Elementary Winter Concert. On the 19th, LeMaster's Winter Program. And then finally on the 19th, Central Middle School Winter Concert and Fine Arts Showcase. If you have an opportunity, board members, it's in your end of week notes. Please try to attend what you can. Riverview Gardens School District has also announced the candidate filing that opened on December 5th for seats on our Board of Education. We currently have 2 seats that are open and will be on the ballot for the April 2nd, 2024 general municipality election. Candidates seeking the office listed above will file at the St. Louis County Election Board located 725 Northwest Plaza Drive in St. Anne. Candidates must file between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. except on December the 26th when they close at 5 p.m. Today, the APR report, which is the district's annual performance report, that comes out that shows how the district rates doing student performance and growth and attendance and graduation rates, was released to school districts. It is still embargoed. It will be public on the 18th, and we are preparing to share our data in a State of the District address on January the 23rd. The town, which is the day we're having the town hall, that will be after our board meeting. So the board meeting on January 23rd will be at Westview Middle School. Also today I had the opportunity to spend the day with Solution Trees, Dr. Kramer and many of the higher ups from Solution Tree, which are our partners, helping us along this student performance journey. I also had joined us was our area supervisor from the Missouri Department of Elementary, Secondary Ed, Maureen Clancy May, Dr. Maureen Clancy May, who used to work in Riverview Gardens. And so she went and met with, where is my grammar today? I met and went over our CSIP report. You know, as the board approved our CSIP on August the 8th, and it had to be reviewed by a panel. We met in all categories on the CSIP. She also indicated that very seldom are strengths identified when they are reviewing CSIPs, and we had an area of, and she said so far it was the best CSIP they have received us. So we can celebrate that. Also, as you know, beginning July 1, the State Board of Education has announced dissolution of the Special Administrative Board. And we will then migrate and become the Riverview Gardens Board of Education. That concludes my announcement. Now for our items for discussion. Our first item for discussion is the 22-23 audit presentation by Daniel Jones and Associates. This is in compliance with all areas of the CSIP. And introducing this is Dr. Levon Singleton, Dr. Tony Ziegler, our account manager. At the conclusion of the presentation, we would ask that the board approve the audit for fiscal year 22-23 later in this meeting. And this is in compliance with policy DIE audits. Dr. Singleton.
All right. Good evening, Special Administrative Board, Dr. Pruitt-Adams, colleagues and community. I am excited to stand before you tonight to introduce this very first topic, which is the 22-23 annual audit report. This is my 4th year in the school district. And each year during this time, we've had to stand before the school board and walk through the different findings and concerns that the auditors have done their due diligence and expressed to the school district. And I've had the opportunity to write those management comments about how we would clean things up. I am thrilled to announce this year, and this is the first year that I know, at least in the last 15 years, that the Riverview Gardens School District has no audit findings. Not only do we not have any audit findings, but we don't have any comments on the audit as well. This earlier today, Mrs. Morrow Real, Mrs. Lane, Dr. Pruitt-Adams, and the audit committee, we met with the auditors, and it was just an awesome session. If you've been around school districts a number of years, you know that this is something to celebrate, that this school district is doing some amazing things in the area of finances. We're being transparent, and to come in and find no audit findings is absolutely amazing. Give yourselves one more round of applause, please. So at this time, I'm going to bring our auditors forward, Daniel Jones and Associates. As you know, we've had them our last 2 years, our last 2 audits. So tonight, Daniel Jones and Associates auditing firm is here. And I'd like to introduce Desi Kirchhoffer. He will walk us through a quick presentation on the audit report. Okay.
Thank you, Levon. Good evening, Special Administration Board, Dr. Pruitt-Adams, and community. I'd like to begin by just thanking the district for allowing Daniel Jones and Associates to perform the district's audits. The district staff are always a pleasure to work with, and we appreciate the assistance and hard work provided by Tony, Levon, and Virgil throughout the whole audit process. Throughout the audit, we issue a few opinions. The first opinion is on the district's financial statements, in which we issued an unmodified opinion. This means the audit was a clean audit, and that is the best opinion that a district can receive and that we can issue. The second opinion that we issue is in regards to the district's compliance with the requirements of Missouri laws and regulations regarding budgetary procedures, disbursement procedures, accurate disclosure by the district records of attendance and average daily transportation, and other requirements as listed on the schedule of selected statistics. We found the district to be in compliance with the state requirements relating to attendance, transportation, and these budgetary procedures. Finally, because the district expensed more than $750,000 in federal awards, they were subject to a single audit. We have issued an unmodified opinion for compliance with these federal awards, and again, that is the highest opinion that a district can receive. There are no financial statement findings nor federal award findings to report. You should have also received a copy of a management letter along with the audit report. The management letter just consists of standard verbiage we are required to communicate to you. In closing, I would like to thank the district and congratulate the district for having an excellent audit and giving Daniel Jones Associates this opportunity.
They don't get to see you that often.
Yeah, good evening, Special Administrative Board, Dr. Pruitt-Adams, and community. I just wanted to say, I'm very proud of the district this year. It was a lot of work. It was a team effort by everybody to really put in the effort to make sure that we got all the kinks out of the previous year, and just making sure that we go forward and continue this into next year. We do have one thing that we're going to be working on regarding getting out of our payroll system and getting everything into the same system. And I'm looking forward to starting that in the beginning of the year. And I think that will really start cleaning things up to where we can looking for things that we haven't identified yet. So just want to say thanks and proud of everybody.
Thank you.
So that concludes the audit presentation. Are there any questions that we may ask or answer at this time? All right. Well, I know me and Miss Morrow, we're gonna do a dance, pretty soon somewhere. We might not be able to do it on the district grounds, but this is amazing.
I do
Yes.
want to make a comment that the gentleman said while we were in the meeting. And I can't remember who said, but we said that it happened just with the cooperation in the department, that it just happened very quickly. And to go from a D- to an A+ in multiple areas, got to do something for the finance department. That's all I got to say.
All right.
Don't say-
All right, I'm gonna hold you to it, y'all public. Did y'all hear that?
We're gonna have lunch on
No,
Thursday.
Let's give me
Enjoy the
lunch
lunch.
money.
Yeah, if I might, I just want to make a comment as well to the finance department that, to go from 4 audit findings to none in a year's time is a major feat. And you guys stay focused. I think Tony was a great addition to the team to get it done. And thank you for keeping your promise. You told me, Devon said, we're gonna give you a clean audit before you leave here. Thank you very much. Very few districts go without having at least one finding. So I don't know if people understand the magnitude of having 0 findings. That's major. That is major. And that is something that our community needs to know, because it says to them that we're really trying to do a great job and really manage our finances in a doable manner. And that's tied to accreditation as well. If you don't have a good fund balance and good financial stability in your reporting, that can impact accreditation. So thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you. And last but not least, thank you to the Special Administrative Board and Dr. Pruitt-Adams. We did the legwork, but you all set the vision. You all told us what you wanted. You gave us the challenge and we executed on it. So I want to thank the Special Administrative Board and our superintendent for leading that charge as well. So thank
Can I
you.
make one more comment, please? I just want to thank Daniel Jones and Associates, because when we didn't have anybody,
That's right.
we were fearful we weren't going to have anybody. And when we didn't have anybody, I think Singleton went to a conference and came back, said, I think we found someone. So thank you for taking us on when we were afraid no one would. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item is the no tax rate increase bond issue for April 2024. This too is in compliance with all areas of the CSIP and board policy, BIAA fund balance. This too is being asked for approval at the conclusion of tonight's meeting. Making this presentation and introducing members of the team is Dr. Levon Singleton. We're doing discussion, gentlemen, for item B, no tax rate increase.
All right. Okay, so I've done the preliminary introductions and everything, but thank you. So at this time, so this is the no tax rate bond issue. At our last board meeting, if you recall, Lorenzo Boyd with Steeple and Nicholas was given permission to go back and give some information, do some engaging to find out, the extent of the no tax rate increase. And so at this time, I'm going to bring Lorenzo to the podium and he can share some details of the findings regarding a no tax rate increase.
Thank you, Dr. Singleton. Good evening to the Special Administrative Board, Dr. Pruitt-Adams, and to the community. My name is Lorenzo Boyd with Stiefel. I think we have our presentation. This one. Okay. Great. My presentation will only take about 1 hour and 10 minutes. I was here last, I think 2 weeks ago, talking about the defeasance, and as Dr. Singleton mentioned, to come back to you today to talk about a no tax increase bond issue. Do I have the clicker? to?
Sorry.
Do I just? So this first page on page 2, first what I'm going to do is go through the district's outstanding indebtedness and then go into the no tax increase bond issue. So with this first slide, this is what we call a debt profile. And I'll go through this pretty quickly. I think I've presented this on a number of occasions, but you'll see right now that the school district has, or the special administrative board has 3 bond issues that are outstanding. You have your 2010 Cs, which are your qualified school construction bonds. QSCBs, we call those Q Scoobies. Those were issued for $4,660,000. You have 3,085,000 remaining. Those are being subsidized by the federal government up to 5.52%. So you're only paying 0.18% on those bonds all the way through their final maturity of 2026. And then you have your actual 2018 A bonds, which were issued back in May of 2018. Those were issued for $8,560,000. And as you can see at the bottom, we defeased a portion of those bonds back in 2022. We're going to do another defeasance, which we're going to close here soon, but we haven't closed that yet. So you have $5,990,000 remaining there. Then we have your 2020 bonds, which were a refunding issue. Those were used to refund the school district's 2010 Bs. Those were originally issued for $5.4 million. You currently have $4.1 million outstanding, and those have a final maturity of 2030. The next page, I went over this briefly 2 weeks ago at your board meeting. This is basically and simply your debt service levy report going from left to right. This is only looking at your Fund 3, your debt service fund, but you have your tax year, your debt year. You set your taxes in 1 year for the collection of revenue that's to pay the debt the following year. Then you have your assessed valuation, and then you have your growth, your assessed valuation growth. You'll see there's been considerable growth since 2019. You're looking at right around 50% actually since 2019 in growth. You'll see there your tax rate. Just last year, this year, I'm sorry, the school district actually lowered its levy from $1.7756 to $1.1392. That brings in about a little over $3.7 million in revenue. You have your additional revenue that you put into your debt service fund that brings about $3.8 million of revenue. You'll see there that all the debt on the previous page comes to about $1.8 million. So your required levy is right around 51 cents. But you're levying $1.13, so you're actually adding money into your fund balance each year to the tune of a little over $2 million all the way through 2030, and about $3.2 million in 2035 when your bonds finally mature. To the next page. This is a quick summary of all your outstanding debt. You saw that the previous debt profile on page 2, which kind of listed all the individual bond issues by maturity. This is an aggregate, so you'll see you have your 3 bond issues that are outstanding. Those bonds were originally issued for $18.6 million. You have $13.1 million outstanding. You have your call dates. You can refinance your 2018 bonds in 2025, and further, you can go back and refinance those for savings, your 2020 bonds in 2027. The state of Missouri has a debt limit for the general obligation debt. That's 15% of your assessed valuation. So with that 50% increase over the past 5 years, your debt limit has went up substantially. So you'll see there that your assessed valuation a little over $325 million. Your debt limit is right around $48.8 million. You're going to have actually, as of 2024, $11,750,000 because we're allowed to take out the defeasance and what you pay off in April of 2024. So you have a debt capacity of $37 million. So that's legally what the school district could issue up to your authorized debt limit. That's not to say that that's what you can issue at no tax rate increase. So with the next page, I think I told Dr. Singleton probably maybe 2 years ago, I said, when you see me, I'm only coming to the school district to actually either save you money or bring you money. So 2 weeks ago, I was here to save you money. This board meeting, I'm here to bring you money. So with that, with the actual your debt service levy of a little over $1.13, the school district could actually go to the voters in April of 2024 for a bond issue of $25 million. That will be the largest bond issue. You can get a lot of projects done in the school district for 25 million. That will be the largest bond issue that the school district has done in quite some time. We're assuming an interest rate of 5%. I think that's fairly conservative. Interest rates have been going down considerably over the past 30 days, actually over the past 45 days. But since we don't know what the interest rates are going to be in 2024 in June, even though you're voting in April, we kind of put there that you would issue the bonds in mid-June because it takes about 8 weeks to do the transaction at 5%. If interest rates stay where they are today, you probably will see about a 4.3%. But just since we don't know, that's more than 6 months away, what interest rates will be, we want to be conservative and draw it at 5%. And this next page, what you'll see there is, this is if you were to do the transaction all in one issue of 25 million, you'll see there that the school district was still in 2030, you would have the ability to go back to the voters for another no tax rate increase bond issue. Where you see that green column come in, that's when your fund balance reaches more than 100%. So there'll be an opportunity in 5 to 6 years to go back if there are additional projects that the school district needs without raising its current debt service tax levy. This next page, I'm not sure if you can see this, but what I really wanted to do here is show you some of the St. Louis area school districts bond election history in aggregate going in alphabetical order. And you can see there just with the 40 million, just what the school district has done over the past 23 years in comparison to some of the other school districts. You've only issued in the past 25 years of new money bonds about $40 million, when some of the other school districts, as you see, there were well over, 400 million or 200 million in terms of doing projects in their particular school districts. So I want to give you that as a point of reference to show you where you are as compared to some of your neighboring school districts. This last slide here is the election months. As you can see, the state of Missouri is a little bit different than some of the other states. In odd number years, actually next year is an even number year, you have 3 opportunities to go for 4 sevens. In odd number years, you only have 1 opportunity. So your next chance to actually go to the voters for 4 sevens is April of 2024. You'll need to file your ballot language by January 23rd of next year. And the election is held on April 2nd of 2024. So I wanted to present that information to you and open up for any questions.
I was just curious when you were talking about the rate, is it a variable rate or what is our rate?
It's a fixed rate. Yeah, it's fixed rate. So school districts in Missouri really don't take on variable rate debt. So whenever we do a transaction, we do a fixed rate bond issue from 1 year to 20 years, because with general obligation bonds, you can only go out 20 years.
So the proposal is for bond election
April
2024, and in that presentation, we tell voters that there's no tax increase as a result of it.
Exactly right. So you would keep your tax rate at $1.13, and if you recall, the tax rate was $1.77 previously. So you lowered it a little over 60 cents this past year, but you're still able to actually keep your levy at $1.13, even though you lowered it last year to $1.13. You're actually able to keep it at $1.13 and issue that 25 million of debt.
So Superintendent, we've got until January the 23rd to present the bond language and everything, and that's what you do, right?
Yes, so we have the attorney here, Gilmore and Bell. So the election language, I think we have a
That's in the
resolution
next
to look at the election language at the next agenda item. But the Gilmore and Bell has wrote the language for you to pass this evening, and then they'll file it on your behalf to St. Louis County. Okay. All right.
No other questions?
Thank you, everyone.
The next item is a resolution authorizing a general obligation bond election in the amount of 25 million on April 2nd, 2024. This compliance with all areas of CSIP. This too is recommended for approval at the conclusion of this board meeting, and is also in compliance with policy DIAA fund balances. Dr. Singleton?
All right, one last presentation Now, this is the actual, Ms. Lane, this is the actual resolution that we must adopt in order to proceed with the no tax rate increase bond election. And so our bond counsel or our bond attorneys are here. They put the language together to make sure we're in compliance. So the new word is Proposition S, okay? And S will focus on safety and security projects in the school district, along with a number of other capital initiatives that we will have. So Prop S, Prop S, Prop S, all right? Mr. Sean Flynn, come on up.
Good evening. There's not a whole lot for me to add, but there is a resolution which approves the language which Dr. Singleton Lorenzo just described. The resolution does need to be formally approved, and this is what gets filed with the county, and it needs to be filed by January 23rd. So I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
So is this on where it says Proposition S, this is the actual, this is what would appear on the ballot where it says, okay,
Yes,
with the
ma'am.
yes or the no, okay.
I know I can't remember if I wrote the questions, but there was a question I had about how we plan to promote this. Are we going to have district personnel go to the municipalities and promote it, and how we
Yes,
plan
ma'am.
to promote it?
So we're going to do very similar to what we did with Proposition E. You weren't on the board when we did Proposition E, but essentially there's a whole conglomerate of things that need to happen. And as soon as we get back from Christmas break, we're going to start the planning. So we've got to get signs and literature made. We're also going to have town hall meetings, if you will, or at least be a part of our existing town hall meetings where we will talk about this. We will go to municipalities, the neighboring municipality meetings. We will also invite them to our school board meetings as well. So we are in campaign mode. And if many of you recall who were part of Prop E, we were boots on the ground for a number of weekends, at least 2 or 3 weekends out of a month. We were here. We were in the neighborhoods, knocking on doors, spreading the word. We'll get some billboards. We'll do all those things that's necessary because we want to see Prop S pass. And Prop S, as Lorenzo mentioned, will bring us $25 million, and that is so desperately needed. Remember, the governor took away, or vetoed, if you will, $13 million. And so we need to move forward with some safety initiatives, and this will certainly help us move in that direction. So, yes, ma'am. Okay.
Thank
There are
you.
no other questions. Thank you.
The last item for discussion is the MOU for Human Resources. And this is in compliance with CSIP's staffing and workforce. And also, there's no policy. This too is recommended for approval later in tonight's meeting.
Good afternoon.
Board.
Good afternoon, Special Administrative Board, Dr. Pruitt Adams, colleagues and community. Today I have before you a memorandum of understanding with Lindenwood University for the GOLD program. Dr. Pruitt Adams said this is in compliance with our CSIP under the Workforce and Staffing section, strategy number 5, action step number 2, which focuses us on looking for funding opportunities for tuition reimbursement, things like that for our staff. The GOLD program with Lindenwood University is a program that will allow us to partner with them. They will partner with us. One of the benefits of the program is it will offer a 20% discount for all hybrid and virtual classes for all staff members, certified and non-certified. They'll also work with human resources to post our job opportunities and vacancies on their job boards so that it goes out to all of their students. They'll also come and participate in any college and career fairs that we have in the district, and they'll come and support our high school with scholars that are looking for pathways. This is at no cost to the district, and the only obligation of the district is to have a point person and for us to spread the information out to our staff members. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. That moves us to items for information. As you know, we have pulled item A, comprehensive school improvements for student performance, and B, fall 2023 climate and culture survey. So our next item on the agenda is professional development committee, PDC program evaluation. This item is in compliance with CSIP's there you go, academic instruction. Making this presentation, this is also in compliance with policy GLC, professional staff development opportunities, and GLC AP1. Making this presentation is Ms. Barbara Sharp, Executive Director of Continuous Improvement, and Dr. Tiffany Patton, Professional Development Coordinator. Ladies.
Good evening to Special Administrative Board, to Superintendent Pruitt-Adams, colleagues, and community. Tonight, I am pleased to join my colleague, Dr. Tiffany Patton, as we present the professional development, the PDC program evaluation. The Missouri Professional Learning Guidelines for Student Success indicates that districts evaluate professional development in order to ascertain the impact of investments in professional learning opportunities. So what I have for you tonight, there are 4 slides, and each one of the 4 slides indicate changes that were made during this past school year. You will note as you look at the slides, you will note that they will indicate the goal, and they will also indicate whether they were met or if they're ongoing. In many cases, and in all cases, they were met, and they certainly are ongoing. Ongoing to the degree that these are constant needs for staff as we engage in professional learning. I want to point here to changes made in terms of instructional coaching, and then to mentoring, and to focus on, we utilized instructional coaching. There were 2 additional days that were added for opportunities to network and to collaborate. And then for the mentoring, we created an opportunity for, at that time, the title was Assistant Superintendent of Leadership and Accountability, but to work on professional growth plans. So we worked through with the superintendent and the assistant superintendent of student support services to gain that support. The next 2 pages indicate our goals and objectives for the year. And you can see that there were some very lofty goals and objectives for the year. We were successful in maintaining those goals. Many of them were related to instructional coaching and the professional development goals that were listed that I mentioned earlier. In terms of the PDC, the Professional Development Committee, that organization is in place by law. And the state of Missouri has specific regulations and guidelines, mandates, if you will, that all school districts in the state of Missouri are required to have in place. In essence, the money that comes to the state, to school districts, come to the school districts, and the PDC has control in terms of working with district staff in terms of planning and coordinating. Also talk about roles, and any successful organization, you do need to have roles and structure. And so here on this slide, it simply lists those roles and different structures. And there is a plan, a document that has been created so that it articulates all of these items that are listed here. Continuing additional things about the different roles, how often they meet, et cetera. Again, that is listed in a document. As we begin to look at evaluation and criteria for evaluating, listed 3 different areas in the instructional coach program, teacher mentoring, and professional learning events. And you see to the right, the structures, processes that are in place to evaluate all 3. Here, you've seen this slide before. This slide basically is the rating tool and it's color coded. And then I'll make a connection to this in just a moment. But you see that everything that is to the far left would be some areas where we really would focus on. Orange in color or cream in color. But areas that are to the right, the green tones are those that are deemed to be a positive in terms of the evaluation. So as you can see here from this screen, you'll see the PD ratings and you see that we have all green here. There are a small number that are lighter shade, and I'm sure there's some different variations for those ratings. We can look into the document and see more specifically in terms of how they were rated and any feedback that's given. And again, this more information. At the top, I failed to mention, you see the schools listed at the top, and that helps to give you some additional information. So now I will have the pleasure of turning the next part of the presentation over to my colleague, Dr. Patton, and she will continue talking about the effectiveness of the PD, as well as next steps in the ongoing measures. Dr. Patton.
Thank you. Good evening, Dr. JPA, Special Administrative Board, colleagues and community. I will talk about the components that were successful. One of the reasons Ms. Sharp and I are both presenting is because of the mid-year transition. And so we wanted to highlight some of the things that even though there was a shift, we still saw to be successful in the program. And we utilize the rating statement. So on the previous slide, you saw the ratings, the green boxes, the 3.8, the 3.6. These are the statements that are put in front of employees when they take and complete these surveys that they are either agreeing or disagreeing or somewhat agreeing with. And so some of these strongest statements that we saw high levels of agreement with were, I found this professional learning experience to be relevant to my personal or professional growth. And I believe the ideas and strategies I learned about during this experience are effective for improving instruction. Some of the initiatives that we had very positive feedback and somewhat positive results from have been the classroom management camp that we presented in April of 2023. It was 1 week of training. The Equity in Action Conference staff members were very, very pleased with that and wanted to start a committee to do that each year over the summer. So we will bring that back next year. And then the PDC stipend approval, which I've spoken about before, led us to go from an 8-member PDC to 16-member, and every school is represented with someone on that committee. So opportunities and next steps. So some of the rating statements that we saw that we would like to improve in for the next evaluation cycle are professional learning experiences was interactive and hands-on. For example, observing expert teachers and discussing, analyzing and discussing student work, practicing with technology, or modeling strategies. And then the second statement is there's a clear path for me to integrate what I've learned from this experience into my practice. So essentially both of these statements deal with application and varying learning, moving from sit and get professional development to more practice in the moment, which we are aiming to do, especially with the classroom management clinics that were presented in the previous board meeting. The improvement goals are increasing the ratings in those two focus areas to achieve an average of 3.8 in these categories for the professional development office, and then also updating and improving the mentor activities, excuse me, for the new teacher mentor program to include more targeted support with wellness and work-life balance strategies, more touch points with mentors, mentees through triad meetings, and more manageable activities. Opportunities and next steps. So some of the additional pieces that we would like to work on implementing for the 23-24 school year and for the next evaluation cycle are aligning the PD across multiple teacher groups through a focus on science of reading training, designing a more intensive needs assessment process that begins in the fall. So we're working with the PDC. There's a subcommittee now on the PDC that works specifically with the evaluation process to redesign the evaluation, the professional learning of evaluation, so that it includes more voices and more of feedback from specialized teacher groups. So they were able to determine how to better differentiate PD. Continuing restructuring the professional development committee to improve teacher input, teacher leadership development, operationalizing monthly practice clinics to support teacher development in the area of classroom management, and then incorporating an approach to coaching with instructional coaches that will build coaches' proficiency with weekly and bi-weekly coaching cycles. And that concludes our information. We're happy to take questions and or hear concerns at this time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next report is the magic, because we pulled the duplication of the travel report. So our next report is Magic House Family STEAM Night for Highland Elementary School. This item is in compliance with CSIP's instruction, student performance. And making this presentation is Dr. Hannah Stout. Turn over to you. Oh, and Miss Caitlin Nye, I didn't see that, the librarian.
Good evening, Special Administrative Board, Dr. Adams, colleagues, and community. Good evening. We are so excited to share with you today about an amazing opportunity that our scholars and families at Highland will have. And with me, I have Ms. Caitlin Nay, our awesome librarian who brought this opportunity to our building.
Good evening, Special Administrative Board, Dr. Pruitt Adams, colleagues, and community. So the Magic House has a program called Access for All, where members of our community can donate money, which will allow Title I schools and schools with 50% or more free and reduced lunch be able to have their families enjoy a STEAM night, which is science, technology, engineering, art, and math. And it'll be for about 2 hours. We were selected to do February 25th, which is a Sunday. We chose this so that our families have an opportunity to bring younger siblings, have the parents come in, and we don't have to worry about having our students be after school for Boys and Girls Club or those that cannot get off work. This will allow our scholars, their parents, and our school community to be able to join together and have an amazing night to just learn from each other.
And also to add, we don't want transportation to be a barrier for any of our families. We don't want transportation to be a barrier for any of our families. So we are working with Dr. Singleton and First Student to provide buses for our families to go from the school to the Magic House. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Singleton and First Student.
Any questions?
Will it also be virtual in addition to in person?
We have not explored a virtual option. I'm not sure, but we could definitely look into what that might look like to incorporate that for our family.
Possible to record this? Unable to.
So the Magic House is like a museum, so it's really experiential for them to be there. I'm sure we'll take pictures that we'll share in our school newsletter that goes out every month. So that's one thought that we might allow people who can't be there to participate.
I love the Magic House. I go there for their adult nights there too. I love it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Our next item is the All-Male Summit at Riverview Gardens High School, scheduled for December the 13th. Making this presentation is Dr. Levon Singleton.
All right, thank you. Good evening once again. So on tomorrow, we are having an all-male summit at the Riverview Gardens High School. It's going to be in Building 5, which is a gymnasium. The summit will start at 9 o'clock, and we're inviting everyone, the Special Administrative Board, the district leadership and administration, and all of the young men scholars at the high school. There are about 575 young men scholars. We have had a couple of planning meetings to talk about logistics. We have our internal staff that will be there, all of the male teachers, administrators from across the district, principals. This is an all hands on deck type of operation. We also have external partners. A lot of people from the community have reached out. We've heard from mayors of a couple of municipalities. St. Louis County Police wants to be a part of this initiative. We've got our own internal partners that we have been working with all year to combat some of the issues that we're having at the high school. And so we're just excited that tomorrow that we get an opportunity to hear from our scholars. That is the main focus of this all-male summit, okay? It's not me standing up with a suit and tie on telling the kids what they need to be doing. Absolutely not. The purpose of this summit is to hear from our scholars, to understand some of the challenges that they are facing, and talk about the choices that they're making. Choices now can lead to certain consequences later on. Good choices obviously can reap good consequences. Bad choices sometimes lead to bad consequences. And so we have logistically got everything set up. We're going to provide breakfast and lunch for the scholars, so there's no need for them to leave. Internally, our food service department is going to be providing meals. We've also ordered some pizzas from Pizza Hut as well. So we're asking everyone, please, to participate. All of the board members, you are welcome to attend. But we're going to put the men on display. And I just believe that, you know, men helping men, okay, men helping young men to become better men is one way that we can combat some of the negative energy that we're seeing across not only our school district, but it's happening everywhere in America, okay? And so we just want to do our part. And so tomorrow at 9 o'clock, we're asking everyone, please, if you can, to please join us, even if it's only for a short period of time. Come and observe and hear from our scholars to see what kind of issues or challenges that they're facing, okay? At that point, or at this point, that really concludes kind of the gist of where we're headed tomorrow. Are there any questions that I may answer about the summit?
I hope that this is one of many.
And we talked about that today too, Ms. Mario. People come up with bright ideas and all of a sudden it's, you know, and there's no follow-up. And so we fully intend after this to get back with those men scholars. And it needs to be done for the women as well, you know, so we're well aware of the challenges and initiatives that need to happen. And so we just want to do our part in helping our scholars. Yep. Okay, thank you.
Our last item for information is the December 23 travel report. Making this presentation is Dr. Tiffany Patton.
Good evening again. You guys have received the December 2023 travel report for your review. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have about it. All right, thank you.
I believe that that's the last item on the items for information. We will now move to approval of the consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Dr. Coleman has made the motion to. May I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Lane has made the second. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Would therefore now move to the items for action. And on items for action, A is the 22-23 audit presentation by Daniel Jones and Associates. May I have a motion to approve audit presentation?
So moved.
Approved by Dr. Coleman. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Horsley. And we approve the audit presentation. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hey, hey, hey. We will now move to item B, the no tax rate increase bond issue for April 2024. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Dr. Coleman made the motion to approve. May I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Lane, second. Are there any questions? Roll call vote, please. I'm sorry, all in favor. We'll just stick with all in favor. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We will now move to C, resolution authorizing the general obligation bond action, the amount of 25 million on April 2nd of 2024. May I have a motion for approval? Dr. Coleman has made the motion to approve. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Jackson. Ms. Jackson? Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
So the resolution is approved. We will now move to D, MOU for Human Resources. May I have a motion for approval?
So move.
Jackson made the motion to approve. May I have a second?
Second.
Okay, was second by Mr. Harsley. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, at this time, we can just sit and gaze and look at the clock a little while. We will move to, I would like to have a motion for adjournment.
So move.
Ms. Lane made the motion to adjourn. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Dr. Coleman. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.